Have you ever questioned the stability of the US dollar? It's a thought that's found its way into the minds of many, especially in recent years. The dollar, that symbol of American economic power, has been showing signs of instability. It's not just an economic theory, it's a reality that hits home for millions of people. Let's break it down. The US dollar operates on an inflationary model. This means that the supply of dollars is continuously increasing. On the surface, this might not seem like a problem. After all, more money means more possibilities, right? Unfortunately, that's not quite how it works. Inflation, by its very nature, means that the value of your dollar is continuously decreasing. Every dollar you hold in your hand, every dollar in your bank account is worth less today than it was yesterday. And it will be worth even less tomorrow. This isn't a temporary dip or a market fluctuation. This is a systematic, ongoing devaluation of the currency you rely on. The impact of this is far-reaching. When the value of the dollar decreases, your purchasing power decreases along with it. The same amount of money buys you less. This can be a harsh reality check for those saving for a home, a car, or for their retirement. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The harder you work to save, the less your savings seem to be worth. This raises serious concerns for the future. If the value of the dollar continues to decrease at the current rate, what will your savings be worth in a decade? What about in 2 decades? It's a sobering thought, and it's not just about individual savings. The devaluation of the dollar has a ripple effect on the entire economy, affecting everything from international trade to national debt. If this trend continues, what will your dollar be worth in 10 years, in 20 years? It's a question we all need to be asking. It's a question that demands an answer, because the future of the dollar and the stability of our economy depends on it. Now imagine a currency unaffected by inflation, a currency that is truly global. Welcome to the world of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, in essence, is a decentralized digital currency. It's like the money you know, but in a purely digital form. It's not controlled by a central bank or a single administrator. It exists solely in the online world, and it's designed to enable instant transactions across borders. And here's the kicker. These transactions don't require any intermediaries. That's right. No banks, no credit card companies, no middlemen to take a cut or slow things down. Picture this. If you wanted to send money to someone on the other side of the world right now, you'd probably have to pay a hefty fee and wait a few days for the transaction to complete. That's how traditional banking systems work. But with Bitcoin, you can send any amount of money anywhere in the world at any time of the day, and it would be just as easy as sending an email. No more waiting, no more hefty fees. Bitcoin operates on a technology called blockchain. Think of it as a giant public ledger where all Bitcoin transactions are recorded. It's transparent and secure. Every time a Bitcoin changes hands, the transaction gets recorded on this blockchain. And once it's there, it can't be altered or deleted. This transparency is one of the many reasons why people trust Bitcoin. But how does one get Bitcoin? Well, you can buy it just like you'd buy any other currency, or you can mine it. Bitcoin mining involves solving complex mathematical problems using high-powered computers. It's a bit like digging for gold online, hence the term mining. But let's be clear. Bitcoin isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a radical rethink of how money can and should work. It's about taking back control from centralized institutions. It's about transparency, security, and financial freedom. Bitcoin, a truly global and decentralized currency, free from the whims of any single government or institution. But how does Bitcoin stack up against our traditional form of currency, the US dollar? Let's delve into this, shall we? Firstly, the most striking difference between Bitcoin and the US dollar lies in their very nature. Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency not governed by a central bank or any political entity. On the other hand, the US dollar is a fiat currency regulated by the Federal Reserve and subject to the ebbs and flows of governmental policy. This leads us to the second key difference: supply. The supply of dollars is honestly quite fluid. The Federal Reserve can increase or decrease the number of dollars in circulation as it deems necessary. This ability to print money has its uses, but it's also a double-edged sword, leading to the risk of inflation and a potential decrease in purchasing power. Contrast this with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's supply is algorithmically limited to 21 million coins, no more, no less. This scarcity is hard-coded into its very DNA. This limited supply protects Bitcoin from inflation, which is a significant advantage it holds over the US dollar. Now let's talk about value storage. The US dollar, like any other fiat currency, is only as valuable as the trust we place in it. Its value is based on the faith we have in the government backing it. But what happens when that faith wavers? The value of the dollar can fluctuate, sometimes drastically. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is often referred to as digital gold. It's seen as a store of value, a safe haven asset that holds its worth over time. And while Bitcoin's price can be volatile, its underlying value isn't tied to the whims of any government. So, in the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin offers a form of money that is both decentralized and deflationary, two characteristics that set it apart from the US dollar. With its immunity to inflation, Bitcoin presents a potential hedge against the declining value of the dollar. Interestingly, even ancient wisdom warns against the dangers of inflation. Indeed, the Bible, a book filled with timeless wisdom and guidance, has something to say about money and its value. Consider the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 1, which states, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold." From this, we gather an understanding that the value of money, whether silver, gold, or the US dollar, is not absolute. Our esteem, our reputation, our character, these are more valuable. Yet when the value of currency is diminished through inflation, it can affect these other aspects of our life. Moving forward, we find another profound thought in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10. "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income." This clearly highlights the dangers of an insatiable appetite for wealth. But what happens when that wealth, the money we hold, loses its value through inflation? The dissatisfaction only intensifies, doesn't it? In the book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 6, we read, "You have planted much but harvested little. You eat but never have enough. You drink but never have your fill. You put on clothes but are not warm. You earn wages only to put them in a purse with holes in it." This paints a vivid picture of inflation, doesn't it? Earning wages only to see them disappear into a purse with holes. Now let's consider the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." This reminds us of the danger of placing too much faith in money, especially when its value is susceptible to fluctuations like inflation. It seems the wisdom of the ages echoes the potential pitfalls of an inflationary currency. So where does this leave us in the landscape of global finance? In this rapidly evolving world, we stand at the precipice of a financial revolution. We've discussed the declining state of the US dollar, scrutinized by its inflationary nature and questionable sustainability. We've then introduced Bitcoin, a decentralized digital asset that operates independently of any central authority. We've compared the two, highlighting the strengths and potential of Bitcoin over the traditional dollar. And finally, we've delved into biblical perspectives on money, reminding us of the timeless wisdom warning against inflation. Bitcoin, in stark contrast to the dollar, offers a refreshing alternative. It's decentralized, meaning no single entity controls it. This eradicates the risk of manipulation, making it a more democratic form of currency. It's also finite. Unlike the dollar, which can be printed at will, leading to inflation, there are only 21 million bitcoins that will ever exist. This scarcity not only makes Bitcoin valuable, but also inflation-resistant. Moreover, Bitcoin has the potential to become a global currency. It's not tied to any country or economy, making it an inclusive financial system that anyone with internet access can participate in. This is particularly beneficial for those in developing countries or regions with unstable currencies, offering them an opportunity to engage in the global economy on their own terms. As we've seen, Bitcoin's potential goes beyond just being a form of currency. It represents a new way of thinking about and handling money. It's a symbol of financial sovereignty, offering individuals control over their wealth in a way that traditional currencies simply cannot match. However, it's important to remember that Bitcoin, like any innovative technology, is not without its risks and challenges. Its volatility, regulatory uncertainties, and technical complexities are all hurdles that need to be addressed if Bitcoin is to truly fulfill its potential. As we journey into the future, it's worth considering if Bitcoin could indeed become the currency of tomorrow, safeguarding our financial stability in an ever-changing world.